The Chinese Civil War was a terrible and complicated conflict that tore China apart for over 20 years. It lasted from 1927 to 1949. During this time, China was a nation deeply divided. Years of fighting within China and pressure from other countries had made the country weak. The Qing dynasty, which had ruled China for centuries, had collapsed in 1911. This left a gap in power that many groups tried to fill. Two of these groups were the Nationalist Party, or KMT, and the Communist Party of China, CPC. The KMT, led by Sun Yat-sen, first wanted to create a democratic republic. However, when Sun died in 1925, there was no clear leader. This is when Chiang Kai-shek, a military officer, took control of the KMT. Chiang Kai-shek and Mao Zedong were very important leaders in the 20th century. They had very different ideas about what China's future should look like. Chiang, a strong nationalist, wanted to unite China under a powerful central government. He saw the communists as a danger to his plan. Mao Zedong, on the other hand, believed in a communist revolution. He thought the peasants, the farmers, should be the base of a new Chinese society. Mao's ideas appealed to many people, especially in the countryside where people were poor and treated unfairly. Chiang and Mao had very different beliefs. Their rivalry would determine China's future for many years to come. The fight between the KMT and the CPC was unavoidable, and in 1927 a full-scale war began. The early years of the Chinese Civil War were full of violent fighting between the nationalists and the communists. The KMT, with more resources and a stronger army, had the advantage at first. They launched attacks to wipe out the communists, pushing them close to being destroyed. Facing defeat, the communists went on a dangerous retreat in 1934. This retreat, known as the Long March, became a crucial event in the Chinese Civil War. More than 100,000 communists, led by Mao Zedong, traveled across dangerous land, avoiding the nationalist forces. The Long March made Mao Zedong the undisputed leader of the Communist Party. It also inspired many Chinese people, showing them that the communists were determined and tough. The Long March, despite its difficulties, gave new hope to the communist cause. Just as the Chinese Civil War was reaching a turning point, a new danger appeared: Japan. Japan invaded China in 1937, forcing the KMT and the CPC to join forces, even though they didn't fully trust each other. This war, known as the Second Sino-Japanese War, became more important than the Civil War for a while. Both the nationalists and the communists fought against the Japanese invaders. However, the war also gave both sides chances to advance their own goals. The communists, especially, used the war to gain more support in rural areas. The Japanese invasion was a terrible time in Chinese history. Millions of people died and there was destruction everywhere. However, it also created a feeling of Chinese nationalism and unity against a common enemy. This unity, however, wouldn't last long. With Japan's defeat in 1945, the Chinese Civil War started again, and it was even more intense. The communists, who had become stronger during the war against Japan, were in a much better position. Many people supported them, particularly in the countryside. The nationalists, weakened by corruption and disagreements within their own party, struggled to regain control. Their efforts were made even harder by very high inflation and poor management of the economy. The war had turned in favor of the communists. By 1949, it was clear they were going to win. City after city was captured by the communists. On October 1, 1949, Mao Zedong announced the creation of the People's Republic of China. The nationalist government fled to Taiwan, effectively ending the Chinese Civil War. The Chinese Civil War was a turning point in Chinese history. It marked the end of the Republican era and the beginning of communist rule. The war had a huge impact on China's politics, society, and economy. Under Mao Zedong, China went through major changes. Land was taken from the wealthy and given to the poor, farms were combined into large collective farms, and the Great Leap Forward was launched, which aimed to rapidly industrialize China. These policies aimed to reshape Chinese society based on communist beliefs. The Chinese Civil War also had significant effects on the rest of the world. It led to the creation of two Chinas, the People's Republic of China on the mainland and the Republic of China on Taiwan. This division continues to affect the political situation in the region. The Chinese Civil War left the country devastated. Years of fighting had destroyed its infrastructure and economy. However, under communist rule, China began to rebuild and develop. The first few decades were a mix of progress and difficulty. The Great Leap Forward, for example, resulted in a terrible famine. However, China eventually recovered, laying the foundation for its later economic success. Since the late 1970s, China has experienced incredible economic growth. Reforms started by Deng Xiaoping opened up the Chinese economy, attracting foreign investment and boosting industrialization. China's transformation from a poor agricultural society to a global economic power is one of the most remarkable stories of the 21st century. The Chinese Civil War had a major impact on China's position in the world. Under Mao Zedong, China became an important player in international affairs, challenging the existing world order. China's involvement in the Korean War, its support for communist movements worldwide, and its competition with the Soviet Union for leadership of the communist bloc all showed its growing influence. In recent decades, China has continued its rise on the global stage. It has become a permanent member of the UN Security Council, a major trading partner for countries all over the world, and a leading investor in developing nations. China's rise as a global power is one of the most important developments of the 21st century. The Chinese Civil War was a crucial event in modern world history. It changed China's fate, leading to the establishment of a communist state and setting the stage for the country's incredible transformation. The war's legacy continues to influence China's policies both domestically and internationally. It serves as a reminder of the country's turbulent past and its remarkable journey to becoming a global power. The effects of the Chinese Civil War can still be seen today, both within China and beyond its borders.